Alright guys, before we get into the video, we're going to be doing a new giveaway for you guys.
That giveaway is going to be the D&D Beyond Players Bundle, which includes not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different books.
Yes, in that bundle we have the Player's Handbook, the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, Xander's Guide to Everything, and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So we're going to have tons of character options in this bundle.
So stay tuned for that. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below on the video so you're entered to win a great giveaway coming from us very soon.
Alright guys, on to the video. Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. Moving on in the subclass series, onto the next subclass, which is the Oath of the Watchers Paladin. So if you're new to the channel, to the subclass series, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go through all the abilities gained in this subclass, then we're going to rate it based on its roleplay value, combat value, and overall class synergy, based on how the abilities gained in this subclass improve on the base class abilities. So without any further ado, Alex, take it away.
Alright, so Paladins are cheaters because they get to add free bits to their RP score because they have their own built-in tits. And yes, a lot of subclasses have some flavor text written in the book,
right,
but Paladins are the only class that consistently gets a very specific, like 3 key words, essentially, that kind of tell you what the theme of this Paladin is.
Right.
And for the Watchers Paladin, it's vigilance, loyalty, discipline. Like, very much fits in what you're thinking. You're thinking, Watcher, a Sentinel,
right,
soldier, a guard. It's very much fits in that theme with keeping it as simple as possible. They do get, of course, their Oath spells, a very unique combination of spells, a lot of RP-based stuff, detect magic, see invisibility, scrying. They do give access to counterspell for the Paladin, yes, which half casters, so you don't get that as often as a full caster would get, but still a very impactful spell that a Paladin normally doesn't have access to. And I'm never against Hold Monster, so is what it is. Your 2 different Channel Divinity options you get also at level 3 are Watcher's Will and Abjure the Extraplanar. What a fun couple of words that is. For Watcher's Will, you can use your Channel Divinity, that's words, as an action. You can choose a number of creatures equal to your Charisma modifier, so not the number 1 stat for most Paladins, but still very important stat because it is your casting stat for all your spells. Right. Within 30 feet of you, for 1 minute, the chosen creatures have advantage on Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma saving throws. There's good and bad to that. Wisdom is very common. Intelligence and Charisma, not as much, but can be very impactful when it does hit. And Abjure the Extraplanar, as an action, you present your holy symbol to each aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend within 30 feet to force a Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is turned for 1 minute. If you remember what turns, basically that forces them to have to run away from you. That's the only action they can take, is either the dash or the dodge action if they can't move any further away from you.
Right. Then at level 7 we have Aura of the Sentinel. As most Paladins get an extra aura, so do these. You emit an aura of alertness while you aren't incapacitated. When you and any creature of your choice within 10 feet of you roll initiative, you all gain a bonus to initiative equal to your proficiency bonus. At 18th level, it increases to 30 feet.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
It is what it is. We'll go into the details on that, our thoughts on that in a minute.
That's fair.
Level 15, we have Vigilant Rebuke. Whenever you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you succeeds on an Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma saving throw, you can use your reaction to deal 2d8 plus your Charisma modifier, force damage, to that creature that forced the saving throw. It's free extra damage when it works. Sometimes you're going to go a while without probably getting this at all.
At least it does pair with your Channel Divinity of giving advantage to those same 3 saving throws, so that's a little bit of something extra.
Yes. Then lastly, at level 20, we have Mortal Bulwark. You manifest a spark of divine power in defense of the mortal realms. As a bonus action, you gain the following benefits for 1 minute. You gain True Sight with a range of 120 feet. You have advantage on attack rolls against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fey, and fiends. When you hit a creature with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can also force it to make a Charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature is magically banished to its native plane of existence if it's not currently there. On a successful save, the creature can't be banished by this feature for 24 hours. Once you use this bonus action, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, or you expend a 5th level spell slot to use it again. So you get like a basically souped up banish, because it doesn't say you're casting banish on it.
No.
It says that they are banished to their home native plane.
Mm-hmm.
So It's a little bit better than regular banish because there's no concentration involved with it.
Right.
But again, you're a paladin. Your charisma score is probably not going to be the highest save on there, but might have some clutch banishments in times of need.
Yeah, because your spell save is based on your charisma.
Yeah, or at least burn up, legendary resist.
Yeah.
But those are all the abilities gained in the subclass. We'll move into the rating portion. First up is the roleplay value asterisk. As always, guys, when we're talking about the roleplay value, we're talking about interacting with the world around you, interacting with NPCs, non-combat scenarios, avoiding combat, basically things outside of the initiative order. Not talking about acting out your backstory, history, class fantasy. All that is on you as a player. Can't really rate you as a player, but we can rate the abilities gained in the subclass and how those abilities might improve your potential to roleplay in those different circumstances.
Indeed.
So, with that out of the way, there are a few thoughts on this paladin here. Obviously, we give a small little bonus, as we always do to most paladins, all paladins actually, for the tenets, as it does to give you a small little guide to kind of give you a focus and theme for the subclass. The spell list is pretty solid as well for the RP. There's some decent RP spells such as like Scrying. You have Alarm, Detect Magic, See Invisibility. Counterspell could even be used in maybe some very, very niche things, but definitely
get some
possible.
charm spells or things like that.
Yeah, so there's definitely some good uses for some RP potential in the spell list. But that being said, that's pretty much it. Rebuke has retaliation for some kind of tricky spellcaster who's trying to pull a fast one on you. Could maybe be a nice way to maybe give you a boost to some intimidation.
Yeah.
Check followed after that, but that's very niche and probably not going to happen too often, if ever. The ultimate can be used niche clutch as well, because sometimes True Sight can really be a game changer.
Yep.
If you're trying to find someone or something like that has some kind of shape-shifting, and you're trying to find out, if you have True Sight, you can see what's going on for real. So that can really make a big difference. But again, it's a level 20 ability.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to want to be burning that outside of combat, because it's going to be kind of your big stick, even though it's not really that big of a stick in this subclass, unfortunately. So we went with a 3.5 out of 5 on the roleplay for the Watcher Paladin.
On the combat side of things, to be honest, I had a hard time scoring this because the heavy influence on the beings from other planes, aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, for not one but really two of the abilities. Of course, half your channel divinity choices and your capstone ability are heavily geared toward that. Right. If your campaign has a lot of that, this becomes a lot more valuable. If it has none of that, your two abilities, one becomes basically useless, and one becomes much less impactful because you can't banish stuff with that ability that are already in their existing plane.
Right.
Because that's not how it works. And the other challenge, of course, being with the saving throws, you do get advantage on with the other half of your channel divinity. And the Vigilant Rebuke being able to force some rebuke damage for those same saving throws. Wisdom saving throws, pretty common. For as far among spells goes, like a lot of CC spells are wisdom saves. However, intelligence and charisma saving throws are the least common and second least common saving throws in a grand majority of campaigns. However, when they do come up, they are usually a very bad time to fail them.
Yeah. Mind flayers always come to mind.
Mind flayers come to mind. And even, I think of counter paladins, banishment's a charisma saving throw.
Right.
And, clerics and paladins can carry that spell very easily. So there's a lot of really niche stuff that can be really impactful and sometimes not. So,
that pretty much sums up the class.
Probably the most disappointing thing, to be honest, for me was the aura. For a couple of reasons. Getting a bonus on your initiative roll that's going to cap at 6. It's helpful, sure, but this aura only starts out at a 10-foot range.
Yeah.
And we had the conversation before we started. How often are you going to have more than maybe one other person within 10 feet of you at the start of combat?
Right.
Extremely rare. And it's probably 50-50. You've got anybody besides yourself within 10 feet of you at the start of combat.
Right.
So it's just, the aura's not going to be a lot of help until you hit 18, and some campaigns don't even make it to 18.
Right.
So you're really just helping yourself with a little initiative bonus and your channel divinity, and then you're hoping for a saving throw to do extra damage. So
you basically have nothing.
from after 3, from 4 to 19, you've got a not a great aura and 2 uncommon saving throws and a common saving throw for some rebuke damage, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So a lot of roundabout ways. We only gave this a 2.5 out of combat. Most, like I said, for all the reasons I've already stated. There are some cool stuff, and some of the spells are really good. Hold monster. The fact you don't have to prep that, it's there is good, and giving you access to counter spell, especially if nobody else in the party can get it. If you don't have a wizard, don't have a sorcerer, don't have a bard in your party, being able to do that in a pinch can be big, and normal paladins can get that. But again, a lot of niche reliant stuff. So a low score of a 2.5 out of a possible 5.
Yeah, just not a whole lot going on here.
No.
Then lastly, we have the overall class synergy. Looking back through everything on here, the channel divinity options and spell list are adequate. They do what they're supposed to do.
Sure.
And the creature types are pretty common. That's a large amount
it is
creatures.
a good chunk of them.
So it's going to be effective most times, and a lot of times those creatures mentioned are on the higher CR.
Yeah.
So as you get higher level, they'll probably become more common if you're not. Though it is heavily dependent on campaign setting, like Alex was saying. If you're in a setting that takes place in the 9 Hells, you're going to have lots of fiends.
Yep.
But you're not going to be able to banish them. So that takes away your biggest ticket ability. So
you're hoping for invading Celestials. That's what you're hoping
or
for.
Fiends, or pretty common.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot going on there. Though there are a few nice things that come up. One thought is the Aura of Protection from the base Paladin with the Rebuke is nice because it gives you that bonus. So you're getting a little bit better chance of them making the saves and then getting that Rebuke off. Plus if you use the advantage. But again, it's niche if you're not against spellcasters or creatures that can innately cast things that are going to require those kind of saves, which is not going to be super, super common for, like I was saying, intelligence and charisma, not the most common saves outside of like strength maybe.
Yep.
But that being said, it does give you some nice options, though niche. So we just gave it a flat 3. Doesn't really help you too much, doesn't really hurt you too much. Just a decent 3 out of 5 on the flumps department. Overall, we're a little, I would say, disappointed, I think, with the subclass. It has an interesting concept, I think, where you're kind of like the Watcher protecting from invaders outside of your plane of existence.
It's Horizon Walker Ranger, but in a paladin form.
Yeah.
As far as the theme, as far as
theme-wise,
being very focused on dealing with creatures from other planes.
Right. So the concept is interesting. I just feel like the abilities don't really match up with the concept too well.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that balancing act of you have a very specific target objective of the subclass, but then it depends on the campaign and how do you balance those
one of those things, if you knew ahead of time you're going to be in a campaign more heavy with this stuff, this does become a more viable choice.
Right. So,
and at the end of the day, also, play what you want to play.
Of course. Yeah, always. You don't have to. A lot of people are min-maxers in D&D. You really will get by unless your DM is just also a min-maxer trying to take advantage of everybody. You'll get by with pretty much anything. Everything will get you through the day as long as you have a solid comp party and
people will just
actually think.
Yeah.
No, just
pay attention
run
and
into the middle of things and stuff like that. You'll probably be all
Basic strategy.
Yeah. So before we finish this one, guys, we have the quote from Tasha.
We do indeed have Tasha's
quote. What did she
quote.
say about this subclass?
Well, these paladins aren't at all up to what I expected. Worse, they send home your party's best guests.
There's some good ones in this.
Yeah, she really accusing them of being some super like goody two shoes. It's like, oh, I invited this Fae and this Fiend and this, Celestial to the party, and then they got rid of all of them.
Feels bad, man. But that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification,
and don't damage Rexy.
Dino! So you know all of our new videos are coming out, guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you want to see from us in the future. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.